So we're back at it, working on the console. My buddy Rick welded the two pieces together for me. He's a much better welder than I am, and I wanted it to look like something, so I let him do it, and he did a great job. I'm super happy about it. So now I'm just laying out where the cup holders are going to go, where the shifter cable has to go through, and then I'm going to make a piece that stands up in here, sort of like that, and that will mount my Davis Technologies display. And then on each side of this, there'll probably be like USB ports. I'll use one side to keep my phone charged and that sort of stuff, and the other side will communicate. That's where I'll plug the laptop in to go to the ECU. So it'll just be right there on my dash. I don't have to search for a cable or tie anything up or anything like that. So that should work pretty good. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm gonna throw this in the car and I'm gonna start making the mounts for it. I think the way I'm gonna mount it, come around and show you the end here. So console in the car obviously goes like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some flat pieces of steel that I've already cut up over here, and I'll cut these to length. But what's going to happen is this piece of steel is going to weld to the transmission tunnel in the car, and then I'm just going to put a bend in it. So it'll be like an L shape, like, you know, kind of like that. And this will be about that long. And so it'll come up, it'll come over, touch the top of the tunnel. I'll weld it there, I'll weld it at the bottom. And then I'll put screws through here into this piece with nutserts so that I can just unbolt the console and take it right out. And that'll be plenty solid. Then I'm also going to bend up a piece of aluminum to finish the back off here, just to finish it off and give it a little more stiffness and structure. So that's kind of the plan. So now I think it's going to go in the car, and I'm going to start figuring out where I need to bend these things, how long they need to be. I might need to make one more, I don't know. I've got enough here for I think 6 or 7 of them, but I think I'm probably going to use, well, I don't know, maybe 3 mounting points, 3 or 4 mounting points, I guess. Probably do one like back in here someplace, and I want to do one right underneath the cup holders, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it across. I'm going to run it up and across, and then the cup holders are going to actually screw into it, and that's what's going to hold the cup holders in. And then because this is on an angle, I'm going to cut a piece of aluminum tubing, and I'm going to mount these in there level. So I'll just cut the tubing on an angle, and when I put these in, tighten them down, it'll hold it all together and should be good. So that's the initial plan anyway. We'll see how much things change, as they always do, between now and when I actually get it finished. But I'd kind of like to have it finished fairly quickly, because I want to send it over to the paint shop, and I think I'm going to get it painted the same color as the car. So that octane red. I think I'm going to do the console the same color. So we'll see how it goes, but anyway, that's the all the news that's printed to fit. So there it is, everything kind of mocked up in the car. That's kind of roughly where things are going to go. I just have to get the cup holders installed, but that popsicle stick represents the shifter cable. And then that display is going to go a little bit farther forward, and a little higher, but not much. It's just kind of sitting there right now where it'll balance. And then the Blink Marine keypad for the PDM is there, and so that's kind of what we got. So now I'm just going to make the steel straps and get those welded in, and we'll get this thing mounted and punch the holes in it for the cup holders, and get the aluminum tubes cut on the bevel to level them out. And yeah, we should be good to go. So I forgot to show you the bending process, but I've bent up this piece of material here, and it's gonna form the back of the console. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm just fitting it, and then I hold it in place with these clecos, and then once I get all the holes drilled in it, then I'll drill this piece big enough to put nutserts in it, and then I can just put screws through here, and it'll just fasten on with, it'll be 6 screws into the nutserts. So yeah, I forgot to video a bunch of this as I was doing it, but that's basically the plan for the back end of the console. So we'll get it fitting up a little better and make it look like something, and I'll bring you back when I get the screws in it. So you can see the little piece that I made here on the top. That's going to hold the Davis Technologies display, and then there'll be a USB port on one side that is dedicated just to the ECU, make an easy place to plug in my laptop, and there'll be one on the other side that's going to just a charge port, just a regular charge port for phones or whatever. So yeah, a little bit of progress. That's just currently held in place with some clecos until I get the nutserts in it. And I think I'll have to put the nutserts in this piece and put the screws in from the back, because I can't obviously access them here. So we'll do that. And then one less thing to do, and I had this taller, and then I started fitting it inside the car, and I realized if I made it a little bit shorter, I could actually still get the ashtray open. And I don't know how important that really is or isn't, but you know, I thought, if I'm here and I'm making it, why not just make it so that I can do it rather than shoot myself in the foot? So here's the Davis Technologies display. This is for that 5-axis gyroscope deal. And so this is going to go like that. And then the ashtray will still open up over top of it. So it's coming along. I think I said in a previous video that I was going to probably paint it, but now I've changed my mind, and I'm just going to wrap it. I'm going to cut the holes in it for the cup holders, which is kind of the last big modification left to the console. And I don't know what's going on with my camera here.
A few moments later.
Well, it seems we had a camera glitch. I changed the battery. Things look like they're okay now. So anyway, as I was saying, I've got to still cut the holes for the cup holders in, and make the mounts that are going to level them out so they'll sit in here level. And I've got to put a hole in here for the shifter cable to go through. I've got to put a hole probably in the back of this for the Davis Technologies little plug to go into. But yeah, that's basically, there isn't a whole lot left to this. So like I said, I'm not going to paint it, I'm going to wrap it, and I think it'll just be easier to maintain, probably better looking, less possibility of it getting scratched and damaged and stuff. So anyway, that's the plan, and we just keep plugging away on this thing. So got the cup holes punched in the top of the console, and now I'm just working on the aluminum spacers that are gonna make the cups sit in there level, kind of like that. Let me just stick something under here to prop that up so it doesn't rock back and forth. So it's gonna go kind of like that, and I've just been opening up the holes and trimming them a little bit, because the hole size, if it's going in this way, is smaller than the hole size if it's going in this way. So we have to kind of extend the length on the long side. So when it goes in, it should just drop in like that. And then from the inside, just looks like that. And what I'll do is I'm going to make a brace that bolts onto the side, goes across onto this side, and then the cup holders will attach to that. They've got a screw fitting on the bottom of them, like that. And so I'll just put that through the brace, tighten this down, and we'll have cup holders. So a little more progress. We just keep plugging away. Walk you over to the car. I've got the mounts welded in. You can kind of see I've got the mounts welded in that are gonna hold the console in place. So we just get those tacked into place, and the paint's drying on them right now, but they're plenty strong. Should be all we need is 4 of those. And it's nice outside. Today is November the 6th, and it's beautiful outside. It's about 85 degrees. Gotta like it. So there we go. I'll bring you back when there's something else worth looking at. Okay, well, we've got the console in position in the car, where it's going to go, where the screws are going to go to fasten it down. I've got clecos in there on both sides, holding it in. And yeah, man, this is hard to do one-handed. But anyway, clecos are in, and it's level and straight, and that's where it's going to end up. So now I'll just remove the clecos, put the nutserts in the internal bracing, and the thing's ready to bolt in. So should be a piece of cake now.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, so we've got the console mounted. It's really solid in here. So now what I have to do is trim the back plate so that it fits around this this transmission tunnel, drive shaft tunnel. So the way the plate fits now is it basically goes all the way down to the bottom, and obviously it's not going to fit. But what I wanted, the reason I made it that way was so that I know that the plate is going to fit in here nicely and finish this all off nicely, and it attach properly. And so I'm just going to trim out the section of it that I don't want, and that's going to give me a nice fit around the tunnel. And I'll put some edging on it so it doesn't rattle and stuff on the tunnel. and that'll be done. So that's the next step. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm basically going to make a template with masking tape. I'm just going to put masking tape across here, up the sides, and make a template of this. And then I'll take the masking tape off, transfer it to the aluminum panel, and cut it out and fit it. And it shouldn't take too much trimming, too much fooling around. I think we should get it done. So that's the next step. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so it turns out this is a lot harder to film than I had anticipated. But anyway, as you can see, I've got my masking tape template kind of laid out here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a new Sharpie that marks well, and I'm just going to basically trace a line on here. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to trace a line that is, you know, the radius of the pen off of the transmission tunnel. And that'll give me a guideline as to where I'm going to cut the aluminum, because I don't want it to fit tight against here. I do want to put a piece of rubber trim on it so keep it from rattling and stuff. So I'm going to cut it a little bit back, so there, if I just put the console on without trim, there'll be maybe 1/8 of an inch of clearance between the aluminum panel and the console. So now what I've got to do is I'm going to take the console out of the car, go back over to the bench, and basically trim this and then mark the aluminum panel, and then we're going to cut that out and so on and so forth. So when there's something worth watching, I'll bring you back and we'll have another look. Okay, so here's it on the bench, upside down obviously, and I've got the rear panel cleat coat in place to make sure that the width of everything is accurate and stuff. And so I'm just going to mark it out and see if I can set this camera up so that you can see what I'm doing here. Bear with me for a second. This little tripod is recalcitrant at best. Yeah. Whoops. Okay. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of mark out. Well, now I'm debating, should I cut out where I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll cut out the section that, turn a little light on here. I'm going to cut out this section that I marked in the car. And that probably didn't cut all the way through. Maybe it did. All the way through the top anyway. Okay. Now take your fingers and I can't get it off. Man, it's just won't let go. Now obviously this is going to need a little adjusting stuff once I get in the car. This tape is pretty thick in spots here. But that's roughly the shape that I'm going to cut out on the bandsaw. So now, if my Sharpie marks, which would be kind of a miracle for me because me and Sharpies have this, I don't know, every time I pick one up it's dry or something. So I'm just going to kind of go like that. All right, so that's that. So we've basically got that marked out. I'm going to take it over to the bandsaw, whack that piece out of it, then we'll fit it in the car and trim it as needed and stuff like that.
1 hour later.
Well, there it is, bolted in and finished. Now, I'm still going to have to remove this when I wrap it. I'm going to wrap the whole thing in like a carbon fiber looking wrap, and so I'll obviously take it apart. And I think when I do that, I'm probably going to paint all the screws black as well. But anyway, it's in there, it's done, and there's still a bunch of things that have to be added. I still have to add where the CO2 line is going to run. There's wiring from the shifter for the reverse lights and neutral safety stuff. That all has to get run up through someplace. I've got a hole in between the cup holders there. That's for the shifter cable to go through, so the other stuff is going to also have to get run someplace. I'll figure that out when I get to it. I'll show you the wrap. Now, this isn't finished by any stretch of imagination. This was just kind of an experiment, but that's what the wrap is going to look like. That's going to go on there. It's just basically a carbon fiber, and I put this on here really quick. I didn't work the bubbles out or nothing. I'm gonna take it off and redo it, but that's what the console is going to get finished in. So that's the plan, and yeah, that's today's effort. So the construction of the console is finished. I don't plan on doing really anything else to it other than putting a few more holes in it and running some stuff through it, and then when I get all the wiring done and everything kind of in place, then I'll take it out, take it all apart, pull the cup holders all out. I'm going to polish this part of the cup holder so it looks like almost like chrome, and then I'll wrap the whole console in carbon fiber and reassemble everything. But I'm basically not going to do that until, you know, it's time to do upholstery and some of the other stuff, because it's going to get scratched and stuff, so I might as well scratch that and then just cover it with the vinyl. So anyway, it's in, and pretty soon it's going to come out. And the next project, I still have to do the front shock sensors. I'm working on getting header clearance on my starter here for the I'm just worried about wiring and heat and stuff, and so I've added a second header flange up here, a stainless steel header flange, and I just ordered some long ARP studs, because this is going to have a gasket, a flange, a gasket, and the header, and so it'll be a lot easier to stack all that stuff on there with studs. I got that idea from my buddy Rick. But anyway, this gives me a fair bit more clearance. It was, if you can see where I've got the blue circle here on the header, sort of, you can see that. It was basically touching there before I put that flange in. So that's, I think, going to be a solution. We're getting ready. A few things I got to tie up under here yet. I've got to nut and bolt everything. I want to bleed the brakes one more time. Just clean it up. I want to make sure I got to give the car a real basic alignment, because right now the steering wheel's not straight when the tires are straight. So I got to get some of that stuff done, and then as soon as I get all that done, the motor's going to go back in, and then the transmission, torque converter, and the gear vendor overdrive. So this is the transmission for it here. It's Turbo 400. As you can see, I picked it up in July of 23. and it is now November of 25, and it's still never been installed. Never had the cellophane taken off of it. And then down here is my gear vendor overdrive, and so that's gonna go at the tail end of the transmission. And then once I get all that stuff installed, I'll be able to measure up for a drive shaft and see if we can get a drive shaft done. So anyway, that's kind of where we are, up to date as of today. We just keep plugging away. This has been a really long project. It's been a lot of fun though, and I've learned a ton. It's been well worth the effort, but I'm really looking forward to driving it at this point. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it. I'd love to hear from you, so send me some comments or whatever. You know, it's always good to hear interaction from people who are watching this stuff, what you'd like to see, what I could show better, you know, all of that stuff. I'm happy to take some constructive criticism from you there, or even non-constructive criticism. Just say, hey dummy, your channel sucks. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.